Welcome to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, and we have an amazing show lined up for you today. We're super excited because we have a big event on Monday, and we're going to talk about that. And then we have an amazing guest co-host. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Cody Peck.
Thank you, Wes, for having me.
Of course.
I am excited about Monday.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that in just a second. This would not be the Tucson Tasty Show without our amazing sponsors. Thank you to Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Viral Premium Beef, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen, Financial Guy Cody Peck. That's your financial guy, Cody Peck, who's also here with us. Network Outdoors, Local First Arizona, Levity Wellness Center, Cirrus Visual, and all of you out in the digital world. That's the social media. The Tucson Tasty Show on Facebook. We're broadcasting live there, so go ahead and grab us there, or you can go on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. And that's the Tasty Show. And 520, the Tasty Show 520. Yep. And if you want to call in and you have a great question for us, and really any question, please give us a call at 520-790-2040, and you can join us on the show and check out what we're doing and ask Chef Danny Perez of the Arizona Sands Club any question you want, really. We'll permit almost anything. Almost anything.
Got it.
But we do have this dump button over here that we can push too.
Perfect.
So
I'll be ready.
Oh, now you just opened the door.
Yep. Yes, we did. Good. But that's 520-790-2040. And Cody, what's going on with you? And Network Outdoors? You got some really great things coming up.
Oh yeah, no, we are. We have some awesome things coming out in the works. We're finalizing details for a local ranch out here. Thanks, Wes, for the connection on that. Can't really advertise it till it's finished, but as soon as that comes out. But the big thing is...
That's vepremiumbeef.com. I'm sorry.
No. That's good. We're still doing our summer, first Saturday, the morning summer family days. And we'll get all that information out. If you want to get into on that, you can get me at cody@networkoutdoors.com.
And it's really cool because you get to go out and get to fish at Silver Bell Lake, and the only lake in Arizona or really anywhere that I've ever been that you can catch catfish with mealworms.
Really?
Dead serious.
Yes.
It's like the biggest catfish I've seen in a long time come out of a lake, and it was a mealworm. I was like, how does that even work?
I drive by it almost every day, and I haven't been out there in a while.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, we're going to have three events a month, pretty much starting in June. First Wednesday out at the Southeast Regional shooting for some trap. As usual, our stuff includes ammo, gun rentals if people need them, and food. And then third Tuesdays, since it's going in the summer, it's going to be a morning shoot, rifle or pistol, over at the Miranda Shooting Club. Food included also. And then the fourth Tuesday, we're going to have a rotation for some lunch and education. And the Sands Club is put on the list also. So that would be fun.
And speaking of the Sands Club, which is really fun, and that we alluded to the event that's happening on Monday. That's the 20th. That's 5/20, and we're going to be actually recording the TV show at the Sands Club, which we're really excited to talk about in the second segment with the menu and why we want to highlight Executive Chef Danny and Executive Sous Chef Seth and what you guys are doing out there, because you're doing some fun stuff.
We are very blessed and thrilled at our membership. You all that support us on a regular basis to be able to do the fun things that we like to do with food, and go out of our way to not just do the normal, but educate some people on amazing food that the 520 has.
Absolutely.
Yes, the Sands Club is amazing. I'm going to harp on you guys quite a bit. Probably the one guy who's actually had the most custom-made stuff, because I started doing that pretty much the minute I started.
I don't know if we want to really advertise that too much, though. You guys have an amazing menu, and everybody should explore the menu before trying to adapt anything to it, because it's well-rounded. I mean, you have the different flavors from all over Tucson, but then you also have some of the personality and flair from Danny and Seth in there too.
Oh no, I go through the menu, and then I usually here. Can you do this?
Well, and the menu is ever evolving. I said from day one, from joining the team, it's actually just past the 1 year anniversary with the club. this past week, and the menu is a nonstop open document to evolve, update, and change as we get feedback from everybody based on the recent changes. We will continue to do that because that's how we grow. That's how we get better. That's how we can make sure, people feel heard, that if they didn't like something, that we really dove into making sure why someone didn't like it. Is it just the execution, or is it just the wrong item on the wrong menu at the wrong time? And that's okay to, maneuver through all that.
Fair enough. So, I have a question for you. Can you give us a chef tip of the day?
Chef tip of the day
with Chef Danny for everybody that's the at-home cook.
I think if you're at home, ensure your tools are good. They're in good shape, that they're ready. If you have a knife, make sure it's sharp, because those knife cuts with a dull knife will haunt you forever.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're at home, you don't need any too many fancy gadgets. I'm not a chef that at home has too many gadgets. I like a really good chef knife and a good grill.
So that actually is a great question. So how often should you be using the sharpening steel when you're pulling the knife out of the block?
I mean, it just depends on the knife that you own and the type of steel that you have on the knife. But a nice run through the diamond steel every use is a good thing. The stone will just depend on what you use it for. If you're chopping down carrots because you're cooking a big roast or something, then you might need to utilize the stone a little more often, as opposed to just making some slices on some onion, etc.
Nice.
And there you have it.
There I have it. Yeah, he's saying that just because I left mine out without.
He handed me one of the dullest knives I've had in a while, and that's saying something. Because, and he did survive, because I pulled out my sharpening steel and I sharpened it for him. Because I do have, or well, I don't have it. Producer Tina has the traveling knife.
Sure. Yeah.
Thing, or what is it called? Container roll, knife roll. There we go.
Oh, the little guy that just rolls out.
Yep.
I saw that not too long ago. It worked pretty good.
It did.
Yeah,
it does.
I can honestly say I have since the move, and actually found my 5 set of sharpening stones, so I can actually get that thing all the way down very, very sharp.
I'll offer this to you. Okay, you come over to my house and you help me with some business planning, and I'll sharpen the knives the entire time we're doing that.
I'll bring all five stones for you.
Beautiful.
And you can get all the way down to a low grit.
You don't have to
bring all your knives. Don't bring the stones.
I've got sharpening and everything. Okay, I'm good. I can take it down to a razor. I'm good.
So Danny, what is something that you keep in your fridge all the time at your house that you're going to use and cook on a regular basis with?
So I've gotten that question before, and it changes here and there, but for the most part, there are 2 things that are in my fridge all the time, for no matter what we have, and it's butter and some ginger. I like using ginger on a lot of the things that I cook, whether I'm making a dressing, a marinade, etc. Right? I like the ginger flavor, so it's something that's in my fridge on a regular basis.
So garlic and ginger?
Garlic and ginger too, but I said butter.
I'm sorry.
But
you said butter, and I was thinking garlic. So
well, they go together. So butter and ginger.
Butter and ginger. That's awesome. That's actually really good. I like that. I always have garlic in my fridge, and honestly, I should have a good stock in my fridge, but I get lazy and we buy it from the store. So we always have a good stock in the pantry.
Garlic is one of those things too where I feel like everybody uses to start a dish all the time anyway. So adding some other profiles like ginger on it, it's always a good thing.
Yeah, we usually have that. What is it, a half gallon from Costco? But yeah,
that doesn't turn green.
No, because we use it all the time. We run out and we're like, oh no, we need more. But that's actually good. So so ginger opens up a lot of flavors, but would you use ginger on? I can't think of anything I wouldn't use ginger on now that I'm thinking about it. I love ginger too.
Well, Mexican food, and I cook a lot of Mexican food at home, but I also love like the Asian flair of food. So if you're doing seafood, nice ginger garlic marinade is always good. Even if you're making a salsa, like adding a little zing with that earthiness from the ginger is really, really good. I like to use it in marinades a lot, especially for chicken. Oh yeah, because it adds a lot of profile to what you're doing. So yeah, it's just one of those things that's always been a go-to for me.
So are you going to be doing the chili relleno demonstration on Thursday? of next week?
Yeah, so we're doing a chile relleno class for our members. You know, and it's one of those things
Are
too.
you going? I'm going to be there.
Have you rolled up? Have you enlisted?
I haven't enlisted yet, but I didn't.
It's a big deal.
I didn't realize it was on there. Now I'm like, ooh, chili rellenos. Like, sign me up.
Right, that's actually my favorite dish too. When I go into a Mexican restaurant for the first time, I always order chili relleno.
That's how you judge it, if it's good or not.
Yeah, because if it's fresh, then you know that they like they like what
Sure.
they're doing. If it's not fresh, you can always tell because you can pour the water out of it, and it's like, okay, this was frozen,
Yeah.
and the rest of the meal, it's like, okay, well, I understand what they're doing here. I get it, you know, and you can tell the freshness of the rest of the food by the chili relleno.
And we're going to talk that through the class. I think, you know, what you put inside the relleno is also a big factor in how it cooks with whatever batter you're using or how you're using it. So I have a couple of fun recipes for that.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to be back with more from Chef Danny, and we're going to talk about his story a little bit more right after this break. And, you know, I'm Wesley Source, your host of the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll be right back with our co-host Cody Peck of Network Outdoors and Chef Danny of the Arizona Sands Club. Thank you to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Fair Earl Premium Beef, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen, Financial Guy Cody Peck, Network Outdoors, Local First Arizona, Levity Wellness Center, and Cirrus Visual. I'm your host, Wesley Source. Stay tasty, Tucson. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, and we're having a fun time here on The Voice, 10:30 a.m. We're also on YouTube at The Tasty Show 520. And if you don't feel comfortable with YouTube, you can go to Facebook, and that's The Tucson Tasty Show. And we're live streaming to all these platforms, and we're having a great conversation with Chef Danny and your financial guy, Cody Peck. I mean, Network Outdoors, Cody Peck. One of the two. And we wouldn't be the Tucson Tasty Show without our amazing sponsors. Thank you, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Fair Earl Premium Beef, that's VEPremiumBeef.com, Mafia Kitchen, Financial Advisor Cody Peck, Network Outdoors, Local First Arizona, Levity Wellness Center. Levity Wellness Center was on last week, and if you haven't gone over there, you got to go over there and get your float on, and it's levityrising.com to get scheduled. And, of course, Cirrus Visual. And if you go to one of the places where we're broadcasting out the stream, the live streaming, you can check out this really cool sign behind me. They actually upscaled my logo, and they did a pretty cool design. And if you come on Monday to the Arizona Sands Club for the 5-course meal that Chef Danny Perez and Seth put together for us with some wine pairings from Laramita Cellars, you'll be able to actually take a picture in front of it, and maybe even catch me or even the chef to take a picture with them as well. Check that out.
Get in line for a picture. That's great.
Only $400.
Are they going to be able to tell who's who?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I get it all the time at the Sands Club.
Hey, chef.
Yeah.
Well, now if you type in
That's only with
Wesley's
the hat
name into
hat off,
chat
see?
GDP, he comes off as a professional chef.
Are you kidding?
No, like I told you I was messing with your name in AI to get saying professional chef Wesley Source.
I wonder if that's how I got nominated for
A James Beard Award? Oh, wow.
No, I keep getting emails. I got nominated for favorite chef of America, and they're like, "Hey, fill out the profile." I'm like, "I'm not a chef," and I like have to email back, and I'm like, "Hey, I would like to, sponsor you guys somehow or talk about it, but I'm not a chef." And I keep getting
unsubscribe, buddy. That's all you got to do.
I tried it though. It didn't work. But no, I actually got the email saying, "Congratulations, you've been nominated," and I'm like.
Yeah, they have a couple of those contests always online. Go around, send me your picture, and we'll email you votes and whatever.
And is it anything? Because I was just going to put all your information in. And
does the Daily Star have a top chef of Tucson?
Offline. It's called Iron Chef of Tucson.
It used to be, right? I'm not sure if. Oh yeah, no, it's still around, right? The Iron Chef of Tucson.
Yeah, no, it happens.
It's not through the Daily Star though. I don't think, right?
No, there's a couple different sponsors.
Yeah, there's different sponsors that take place. I think it happens during the summer, as a matter of fact. And if I remember correctly, our good friend Ken Foy is the reigning Iron Chef.
Second time winning.
Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So he's on 2-peat.
Yep. And he did some amazing stuff. Devin Sander was the runner-up and from Zio Pepe.
Yep.
and visually, because none of us got to try it in the audience, but visually, I don't know who would have won. But you have to go and check it out on the website. But anyways,
Yep.
that's the tastyshow.com. And you can also get the tickets for the Arizona Sands Club there as well. It's right underneath the banner. But so I want to point something out really quick. And this is a return to the premiere of the Tucson Tasty Show.
Yeah.
Because you were on the premiere for us. And I really appreciate you coming in as a guest for that show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun, the first one. Yeah, we got to really see how you are growing everything to do with the Tasty Show, and how much success you've had from everybody that's come on the show and supported you, and you support us all the time. So I'm glad that
Happy to.
we are where we're at with the Tasty Show.
Tucson's a very community-based city, so
For sure.
if we're not helping each other out, then you're not going to be, or if you don't participate, then you're not going to succeed.
No, you got to put yourself out there and be okay with the conversation that takes place to get people educated on what you're doing and how you're doing it and why you're doing it.
Right. So what do you think of that, Cody?
Well, first the worst, second the best, because I think it was number 2.
Yeah, and I think we're like episode 36. No, a little bit further than that. So I mean, we're rolling with it, and we were told that we need to do a TV show by the local station, so that's what we're doing. And
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really fun. I think that the people that come out to the event will see a different part of how food gets done and how food gets executed, and the plan that goes into doing a 5-course meal, and then we also get to see the reaction of people enjoying the food and how they enjoyed it, and ultimately, as a chef, that's what you want. You want to hear how good a dish was and the opinion of another person regarding what you made. That's ultimately the satisfaction of
the reward.
Why we do what we do.
Right. And speaking of that, I mean, how did you get started as a chef?
Well, I kind of got thrown into the business at a very young age. I was, probably 16 years old, started working in a restaurant, a local restaurant in town on the east side called Cafe Melange. It was a breakfast restaurant over off of Camino Principal on your way to the Tucson Country Club. But you sometimes end up in the right place at the right time, and when people call off and the owner throws you into the pantry station, you kind of just fall in love with what you're doing. And ultimately food and being a chef or being a cook or being a kitchen manager, it's a people business. You're around people all the time. I enjoy that part of what I do. You get energy off people and grow as a person from that interaction. So it's been a lot of fun for the last 30 years of my life to be able to do that. Got an opportunity to go to culinary school in Scottsdale and been part of a lot of really cool places here in town through my career.
That actually, you bring up a good point. So how do you build out a team in a kitchen? I mean, do you just grab whoever you can and then you guide them to success, or is there some nurturing? I mean, it's definitely something that's different than just jumping into the team and go, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, you said it earlier, we live in a community that is very tight-knit, and there's the chef community especially. I think now we're in a point to where we're all really close to not just being a competition thing within the environment and the community, and we're not at least for me, it doesn't feel like we're stealing people from each other. We're helping each other find the right fit for what makes sense for the team. And sometimes you get lucky. I inherited a really solid team at the Arizona Sands Club. Seth, Chef Carl, and a lot of the guys that have been there for a while, they're very talented, and that just allows for me to put in my style or my leadership to support what they're already doing, and in turn, we get great results. Through all that, though, it's all relationship based, right? So if you have really good connection with individuals and they want to continue to work with you, then they sometimes come along, and sometimes they grow their own wings and fly and come up with their own restaurants or food trucks or really cool things that happen for them. And so you just become a proud papa after that when you see people doing their own thing after you've worked with them for so many years. So it is all about the relationship. It is all about the people piece of the business that is not as flashy as what you get on the plate.
That's fair. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. No, he has a great team there, and he's made it better. I was there Oh, we have 5 minutes. All right. I was there a little bit beforehand, and it is definitely a good time. Okay. Oh, that's what that is. Thank you.
You're
now I
welcome.
understand.
You know, I think sometimes people need to hear a different voice, and sometimes people need to hear things a different way. I also will tell you that at this point in my career, the great energy that I have and the people that are around me are also, you know, sometimes not an accident, and you end up having to put yourself in a position to where you've learned from your mistakes, you've learned from the other environments you've been around, you've learned from the leaders that you don't want to be like.
That's
all right, and from the leaders that you do want to be like, to be able to nurture the people that are around you to get the best out of certain individuals. You know, some people are very good at certain things, and some people need to continue to, you know, polish their skills. And so when you work with individuals that have a little bit of a give and take, you grow it.
So, Chef Danny, what is the one item in your kitchen you just hate cooking?
Oh wow, that's a hard question.
Food item.
Food item.
I don't love making fried tacos at home because it's a mess. Not because I'm scared to get burnt. It's just a mess. Right? I usually ask my wife to take care of the fried tacos. She makes great fried tacos, but I just don't like cleaning up the mess in the kitchen. I'm so lucky and have been for so long that, you know, you got somebody always helping you clean or cleans up after you. That cleaning the mess from doing fried tacos is a tough spot.
There's a lot, yeah. Anytime you fry anything at home, it's a lot.
It's just a mess.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you want them to come out right. You're not just going to drop them in a small little pan of oil. You got to do it right. And so sometimes making fried tacos is a little messy for me, Corey.
Okay, nice. So there was one thing that I did get at the Sands Club before you came along. Can you make a Scotch egg?
Scotch egg.
Scotch egg.
It's been about a month and a half since I had my last Scotch egg, and I am starting to get that hankering for that Scotch egg. Do you know what a Scotch egg is?
I do, but I just don't see the fun in it.
There's no challenge.
There's just so many other things that can give you.
That's fair. You know, to be honest, we actually, every time I go to Vegas, we go to Gordon Ramsay's Pub and Grill, and they have Scotch eggs there, and they're delicious. And the way that they do them is pretty great. But from what I understand, the previous person or previous chef did a Scotch egg for Cody that was decent. But I think that's something that we need to work on at home. And
so that goes back to his question, though, and you said it right. Even though our menu continuously evolves, we take the invitations to try to do new things.
You have to come in for brunch to get the Scotch egg.
That might be the reason.
There
we go.
That might be the reason why, for sure. Saturdays, that's when it happens.
But yeah, no, I've been impressed with you and your team, because you guys did a 4-course kind of anniversary thing for me and the lady. 5-course with
beautiful
wine pairing. It was beautiful that day.
And we're going to be right back after this hard break, and we're going to do Tasty Bites with Chef Danny and see what he brought in for us today. Thank you to our sponsors, the Kiki Rogers Country Financial Insurance, Vera Earl Premium Beef, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen, Financial Advisor Cody Peck, Network Outdoors, Local First, Levity Wellness Center, Sirius Visual. I'm your host, Wesley Source, and stay tasty, Tucson. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show, and I'm your host, Wesley Source, and we have Cody Peck of Network Outdoors as our guest co-host today, and hopefully you'll be here a little bit more often, right?
As far as I understand, that is the plan until you get sued and I get kicked off. So we're good.
I don't even know how to process
I don't
that
know
right
which
now.
one's going to come first.
Let's just not talk about that now. Okay. Great. Moving on, we also have Chef Danny of the Arizona Sands Club. If you haven't been to the Arizona Sands Club, it's on the 5th floor at the north end of the Arizona Stadium. One of the most iconic views in Tucson, because you walk in there and it's the area, you get the entire view of the stadium, and what an amazing environment that they've created up there.
Thank you. And, you know, even though we're a social membership club, you know, we do a lot more than that. We have a great partnership with the university and do a lot of great things for for the athletic department and all that they do for our community as well. But we also put on great events. So
Yes.
if you are ever in the need of finding space to do an event for either a charity event, a celebration event, we have a great catering team and a great banquet chef that just knocks food out of the park for events. So it's always fun to know that we have some really cool spaces throughout the stadium that we can do and service events.
Well, you guys knocked it out of the park when we did the Network Outdoors Wild Game Dinner with you guys.
That was a fun
Yes.
event, right? 'Cause especially when being able to play around with some regular type of meat was fun to do, and the team did a great job putting on all the sides to pair it with it.
Everyone loved it. We had people in there who were like, "I'm not going to eat this." I'm like, "You got to try it." They're like, "I've never had any type of thing that people hunted or it came from anywhere," and it's like, "No, try it." And they're like, "Wow, I had no idea elk or deer or any of this could taste this good."
Oh yeah, no, elk is probably one of my favorite wild game, and I actually the first time I ever had it was up at Orange Sky in Phoenix at the what was it, Talking Stick, and they were doing this flight. And here's an idea for you, but they were doing a flight of meat. And there was boar, there was elk, there was deer, and then there was some Wagyu or something on it. So you got a good taste of different things, and it was boar sausage. There you go. And it was really interesting. I mean, it was a lot of meat, but I think I shared it with everybody at the table. So it was, and I like a good elk tenderloin. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're perfectly fine. We want your input
We're
too.
gonna roll out a new bar menu here in the next couple of weeks, so
Exciting.
just for the bar. So
Didn't you guys have like boar or something?
I think we had
on like,
in one of the prior menus there was some boar bacon and I think a slider even there was at one point.
Wasn't sometimes you have boar sausage, don't you?
We do.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a grilled cheese sandwich with some boar sausage and bacon, and it was really good.
Yeah.
It was thrown together for me for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Special request.
special request.
I didn't request
Press
it.
it.
It was a special
idea
offer.
for you. That's how it usually starts.
It was actually a special offer because it was a shrimp grilled cheese sandwich, and I don't eat shrimp. And they said, "Well, okay, I'll make you something. Here, how's this?" And I was
what we
like,
do.
"Oh, okay,"
That's what we do.
which I always appreciate. So,
Now I want one of those.
I let the guy know about the guy. I got it.
he's got a guy for the guy.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you brought, why you brought it, and why it's special.
So you mentioned, last time I was here and it was, the first show out, I brought something that I love eating, that I enjoyed eating, which was chicharrones at the time, which you both now obviously eat all the time.
I do.
And today I wanted to bring a couple of our desserts that, you mentioned Chef Seth. Chef Seth is our exec sous chef and oversees the restaurant operation. He's come up with some great dessert menu for our members. So we have just a traditional flan for you to taste, and then a vegan, sugar-free fig pudding.
So is there any added sweeteners at all?
Just stevia. So it just keeping it light. Coconut milk, dark chocolate, and fig puree.
So you can try the fig puree one,
It's really good.
Cody. And
Some fresh berries on it.
I'm gonna jump into this flan.
And talking about building a team and what you do with people, the reason why I brought something that Seth put together isn't because I wouldn't. It's just because I like to share the love, and there are things that people are good at. Seth is good at this, and I think it's important to always highlight what we do with what other people are bringing to the table.
This is definitely delicious. I'm not sweet. I'm not really a sweets guy. I'm more of a savory
And that's
guy.
not overly sweet.
And it's not overly sweet. In here, we get a little bit of that chocolatey taste into it too,
Sure.
which is good.
Mhm.
And if you told me that this was vegan and sugar-free, I would have had no idea.
And I think as long as you're willing to try the fig, I think people get a little scared about the fig flavor, but I don't think it's overpowering. I think it just balanced pretty well. And it's creamy
really balanced.
enough.
Is
from
this the
coconut milk.
horchata flan?
Yep, a little extra cinnamon in it.
Yeah, no, this is really good, and I actually have had this before at the Sands Club, and it's one of the desserts that I do enjoy.
It's a great go-to.
and that one's really good as well. But you also have the Bear Down Bonello.
The buñuelos.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the newer items. So we did a champurrado chocolate pudding. So it's kind of like a cinnamon nachos, if you will, baked flour tortillas tossed in cinnamon sugar with a little champurrado chocolate dipping sauce for it.
Right.
Champurrado is just like a Mexican hot chocolate recipe style that you can taste that Mexican hot chocolate when you taste it. A little extra cinnamon with a cinnamon stick. So it's a really nice flavor profile for that dessert.
Yeah, no, it's solid. It hits. It's really well. In fact, I hear that's the gastronomy group's choice for the dessert menu.
It is the one and only. And I think that our menu continues to evolve, and the balance of having really great desserts for what we do is important. And these two items are one of them. And also taking full understanding that we have a different audience that might need those sugar-free options, those vegan options. So that's why we added that one on the menu.
Fair enough. And
you have a gluten-free option too, right, on the dessert?
Yeah, I mean, that one's gluten-free. This one's gluten-free. So there's several of that. We take full consideration on all of those dietary needs or allergies. So, I think every restaurant has to nowadays. And you have to make sure that there's a balance to it, even though there's a need and a want to always have a nice, fluffy piece of bread on something. It's important to have that balance.
And that it's funny you bring that up, because one of the things that we talked about when Don from Barrio Bread came in was all of his breads, he's using the ancient grains, and they're low glycemic and they're low gluten. So people that have a gluten sensitivity actually can eat it, and it's good. It makes you feel good because
it's not as harsh on your body as normally would be.
Right, and you do carry the.
We do. We have great partnership with Don. We grabbed some focaccia from him for a couple of our sandwiches. I've got an opportunity to know Don in the last few years very well, and a lot of the stuff that he he's producing and baking and learned to do from him. It's really cool stuff to incorporate into our menus as much as we can.
Yeah. That's actually the first time I've ever had a BLT made with focaccia, and I don't think I'll ever go back.
It's really good.
It is really good. I mean, it's the chew, it's the texture, it's the flavor, it's a little bit of the sourdough, because it's got that little bit of a sourdough flavor to it, and everything else. So, I mean, it's solid.
It's all about the ingredients. It's all about who you partner with. And you ask me all the time, "Hey, did you guys make this, or did you make that?" Right? And we are scratch kitchen to a point, but I think in the last decade or so, I've learned truly that the partnership with the people that do things well and do it exceptionally well, it should be and always will be part of what we do in our menu, so we can highlight our community, but also ensure that we're putting the best out there for people to enjoy. So, we may not make everything in-house, and that's all right. We give the flowers where they're due and who's producing what. But the partnership on making sure that the plate fits well, you're talking about the focaccia, if it's grilled correctly with the right ingredients inside it, then we did the right thing by buying somebody else making that bread, right?
Well, he has great bread. I'm still upset though from last week, the fact that you took the loaf.
He brought in a it wasn't last week, it was the week before, but he brought in a paper bag sized loaf for us that he made for the Tasty Show.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, yeah, that's going to Greek Easter with me. Sorry, Cody. Out.
You just got to go get in line.
And it was so delicious. And you can also get it from Food Conspiracy on 4th.
Oh, that's right.
They drop it off right after they essentially sell out every day.
Yep.
So second opportunities to get it. But if you want to come and check out the Arizona Sands Club, you can go to thesandsclub.com or
ArizonaSandsClub.com.
ArizonaSandsClub.com. And membership is really not, it's not like the Skyline, to get the initiation fees are really low, and the monthly fees are really low. And then
just depends what you're going to use it for. There's
Right.
a lot of tiers. There's a lot of opportunity for you to decide what you want, what and how you're going to use the club, and it's definitely, there's value added there.
Especially if you're under 35,
Oh,
you get
yeah.
a discount.
And what it is with the social networking club. I mean, there's networking there, and it's some of the best networkers in Tucson that come to the Arizona Sands Club. So
Yeah, if your own business of any kind, coming to the club on on the weekly networkings that we do help put together, could not be a better opportunity for you to grow your business
and get some amazing food. All right, so we're going to go into our last break here, and then we're going to have Laramida Sellers come in. So stay through the break, and I'm your host, Wesley Source. We'll be right back. Special thank you to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Vera Earl Premium Beef, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen, Financial Advisor Cody Peck, that's your financial guy, Cody Peck, Network Outdoors, Local First Arizona, Lovely Wellness Center, and Cirrus Visual. I'm your host. Stay tasty, Tucson. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, and we're here with Cody Peck, your Network Outdoors guy. And you can go to networkoutdoors.com and become a member and do all the amazing fun things that Network Outdoors does. Your elk hunts, huh?
In August.
Yeah.
And then we also recently on August 10th, partnership up in Scottsdale. We got some for members only, pretty much CQB and simulation round training.
Oh, cool. When is that?
August 10th.
August 10th. Perfect. All right. And how much padding are we allowed to wear?
None for
Outstanding.
you.
I've taken my licks on that. I was in the Air Force. I'm good. I just won't go. That's why I don't go paintballing anymore either. You know, I got it. You know, I've been there. I've done it. I'm good. But we do have Greg Gonerman of Laramida Cellars, the chief winemaker and owner, and his counterpart, Leslie of...
Leslie Patrick, my Tucson area sales and marketing rep.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start where we always start, with a fantastic wine. This is 8 years later, by 1764. My friends Bob and Julia Dixon make this wine. They have a small vineyard winery just outside of Sunside, south of Wilcox. This wine was a runner-up in the Governor's Cup competition this spring. And anytime one of these wines wins or places well in that Governor's Cup competition, it immediately sells out, and this wine became very quickly a wine you got to know somebody to get a bottle. And you know me, and here I am. I've got this bottle, and
he's not saying he knows people who know people, but he does.
I do.
Check out that color.
Petite Syrah, Petit Verdot, and Sangiovese. It's a lovely three-way blend. Julia or Jules, as her friends know her, she's a fantastic winemaker. Learned the trade at Yavapai College.
I think he's playing to the host.
Maybe just a tad.
Well,
but you and I have that shared love of Petit Verdot.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you for pointing that. I do. That's one of my favorite, but Grenache is one of my other favorites. And and I couldn't remember the first time you came on Grenache, but I remember now. But so tell us a little bit more about how long has this winery been around?
I think they're about 8 years into it. I think that's where the name came from. 8 years later.
8 years later, got it.
So again, a small vineyard just outside of south of Wilcox near. Am I not?
You're good.
Am I good?
Yeah, you just need to make sure you keep it.
Okay. So they're near Sunside, south of Wilcox. Fantastic little winery, and they do tastings on site on the weekends. Call in advance to make sure they're open. And great people, fantastic wine. And I was so pleased that they came in. They placed so well in the Governor's Cup competition this spring, and I'm pleased to share this wine with you.
Thank you. All right, so I've let it breathe. And what are these? What are the notes that we're going to pick up here?
I'm getting cherry. I'm getting a nice acidity. Leslie, what do you get?
Oh, definitely the cherry. Absolutely a little bit of the violet. That's kind of the signature for Petit Verdot.
I'm definitely, it's very cherry forward for sure. I mean, it's a little bit tart.
Well, all three
really good.
varietals are very cherry forward. It's just different variations on it.
So why would you say it was cherry forward? Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a really common misconception. Because, maybe to people that don't know about wine very much.
Yeah, let's actually back up a step and talk about how to evaluate wine. Now, of course, those listening on the radio can't see this, but we're sampling this wine in a Bordeaux style glass. Bordeaux, like Bordeaux, France. It's a taller glass, and we're only pouring out 1 to 2 ounces in the glass. We're pouring such a small sample so we can swirl the wine around. And the first thing you do when you're sampling a wine is tilt the glass over a bright white surface and evaluate the color. The color around the edge of the wine will tell you a lot about the variety, the age, and other factors. Now, as we swirl the wine around on the inside of the glass, we're giving that wine an opportunity for the alcohol to evaporate, carrying with it the aromatic molecules. And once we swirl it around, we're going to stick our nose in the glass. Very deeply inhale and exhale slowly through your mouth. And that will fully involve all of your olfactory senses in the experience. Now, we're going to take a small sample. As you take that into your mouth, kind of pull some air over it and then exhale through your nose. Again, you're involving all of your senses in the exercise. And this wine speaks both to the terroir, that is sense of place, and also speaks to the winemaker. Julie has a wonderful winemaking style, and that produces this myriad of flavors you're getting and aromas.
So one of the things that I do want to point out is I did aerate it a bit, but then as we aerated it more, it changed flavor. Why would it do that?
Well, you're getting some oxygen into the wine. Not only as you swirl it around the glass or giving the alcohol an opportunity to carry the aromatic molecules out, you're also getting some oxygen into the wine, and that allows it to open up a little bit. Especially a wine that can be a little reductive will change quite dramatically as you get some air into it. Now, this is not necessarily a reductive style of wine. I'd say this is more oxidative, but still getting that air into the wine can change it quite a bit.
And
thank you for explaining that.
one of the other notes that you're going to be picking up on this too are some plum and sugar plum, both.
I think that came through more the second and third time that I tried it compared to the first time. And I mean, why would the flavor profile change after the first time I took that sip?
A lot, again, is about getting oxygen into the wine, but also too as your palate can change even a few minutes. As you're drinking the wine, you may just become more receptive to the wine and may pick up on some things that are there that you missed the first time around.
And one of the things that Greg is actually talking about in this that people may be more familiar with as far as layman's terms is the phrase opening up.
There we go. And that's what I'm trying to get to is it's just an explanation behind the wine. And it's all really amazing information. So I'm really glad that you're sharing it with us.
It is amazing. And being the most novice person over here, I've understood about 5% of that. So
I tend to geek out on these things. I hope I'm not getting too technical on this.
You're great.
This might be a good opportunity to talk about some common questions and misconceptions we get about wine. When we're at a wine festival or a charity event and we're pouring wine, frequently people will say, well, I don't like my wines too dry. And strictly speaking, dry is simply an absence of sugar. But that's not really what they're talking about. They're not really asking for a wine that completely lacks or has some sugar. Instead, what they're asking for is they don't want a white wine that's too tart. They don't want a red wine that's too tannic. And understanding that, we'll have a conversation with them, try to gauge that. So tart, when I say tart, acidity expresses or impacts more the front of the palate, the tip of the tongue. Imagine biting into a lemon. That's going to give you a puckering sensation. That's right up front, tip of your tongue.
So if we did a road map of the tongue, the tip of the tongue is going to be your...
Very front of your tongue. You stick out your tongue, and the part that's coming in...
It's the tart part.
It's the tart.
That's where you're getting tart.
And then as you pull it back on the flavors back on your tongue, you start to get more of the...
I'm not an anatomy expert.
Then you're
Oh, Lord. Sweet and salty, and then you get more into the umami of
and the
wine
texture.
and of food.
Sorry.
And that's
I'm
where
putting
it
you on
all
the spot.
becomes
That's
a
okay.
beautiful,
That's
beautiful scientific melange of biology and ionology.
my dad might have taught anatomy. Doesn't mean I know one thing about it.
Now,
Fair enough.
Again, white wines are, when people say they don't want a wine that's too dry, they're talking about a white, they're talking about not too tart, and a red not too tannic. Tannins are the other big factor in this equation. Typically, a red wine would be tannic, not so much white. And tannins you sense on the sides of your tongue and the inside of your cheeks. Tannins are long-chain organic molecules that bond with proteins, and that sounds terrible, but believe me, it's completely harmless. Tannic wine will produce a drying sensation on the inside of your cheeks as those tannins bond with proteins.
So that if you are drinking a wine that literally makes your cheeks suck in and you have to peel them off of the enamel of your teeth, chances are it's a very tannic wine. It's going to be one of those big, bold reds that everybody says they just love these days.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you don't let it open up at first, you're going to end up with that experience. That's why approaching the wine and letting it swirl and open up is
It's
so
will
important.
soften it quite a
Yeah.
bit.
So you guys are over at the Sands Club on Monday, is that correct?
Oh yeah,
too?
thanks for reminding me. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be a great event. We've been looking forward to this for some time. We're bringing our Dos Hermanos, our Tres Primas white blends. We got our Sangiovese, our award-winning Sangiovese.
I'm looking forward to that.
Our Syrah, our 22 Syrah, which is drinking fantastic
And of course,
right now.
the host's absolute favorite, the Padre,
The Padre Kino,
Kino.
the 21 Padre Kino, our port-style wine.
And that's going to be actually paired with something very similar to this flan that Danny brought in, and you should try that because it's actually the horchata flan, and so it's a little bit more cinnamon forward. If you like flan, this is some of the best flan you'll ever have. So,
Well,
continue.
I've heard great things about Danny Perez. I'm looking forward to trying his dishes on Monday. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And
No, I can't wait for you guys to be there, and we're gonna have you really, kind of bring in and explain things as we go through.
I will explain more than you want to know.
I'm sure that everybody there will appreciate the area, and thank you so much for joining us today in the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll see you next week and every week from 3 to 4. We'll have Chef Juan of Taco Rustico and Tony of Black Rock Brewery. Thank you to our special guests and sponsors, Danny Perez, Cody Peck, Greg and Leslie, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Viral Premium Beef, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen, Financial Guy Cody Peck, Network Outdoors, Local First Arizona, Levity Wellness Center, and Cirrus Visual. I'm your host. Stay tasty, Tucson.